This conference will now be recorded.
Well, great GOGI evening to everybody. Seems like a minute since I was at a meeting, and I know I only missed one, but welcome to the Monday night GOGI PowerUp. We're going to get started, but before we do, folks, we're going to go around the group circle, and we're going to get a feel for where everybody is as far as mood and mindset between 1 and 10. 1 being really, really not good, and 10 being absolutely productive, powerful, and positive. So, Monica, let's start with you.
Oh,
1 to 10.
Just because I got aggravated, my dog's starting to bark his head off. Actually, last week I was a 1. This week, starting this week, I'm actually probably around an 8.
Yay.
Okay. Yay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, Joanne. How are you? Where are you? 1 to 10 with your new job. Oh, I didn't hear you. What?
I should have said 10, but I'm a 9.
Okay.
Oh, well, isn't that wonderful? That's always a good thing. Yay! I'm happy about that.
Yeah, if you say 10, then
All
there's
right.
nowhere else to go.
We can just throw logic to the wind, and you can be an 11 if you want. With GOGI, you can be whatever you want. Okay, Martha, 1 to 10. How are you today?
I would say a 5. I started off at a 1. I'm at a 5 right now.
That's
right. That's good. That's forward motion.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and look at King Stephen is joining us. Awesome. Okay, Rebecca.
Mr. Hollywood. I am
Mr. Hollywood.
I'm probably a 7, and I have my GOGIism that I just did today, so I want to share.
Did you see that I posted that?
Yes,
I posted
did.
it for you.
GOGI for it. Go for it.
Yeah. GOGI for it. There's another one? That's another one.
Oh, what was the other one that I did?
That's great. You did on the GOGI.
Oh yeah, on the GOGI.
Remember? Yeah.
Yep, I remember.
And GOGI for it. Oh, I like that one too. There you go. Got 2 of them in one day. Awesome. All right. So Savina, 1 to 10, with 1 being poo poo and 10 being woohoo.
Poo poo. Poo poo.
Even.
Mr. Hollywood. Mr. Hollywood.
Mr. Hollywood.
What did you call me? Wait a minute.
We call him Mr. Hollywood. We're going to call you Hot Pants now.
Whoa. Wow.
I'm sorry. Okay, Savina's got the floor.
I guess about a 7, I would say.
Okay, 7 is good. Steven, 1 to 10, how are you?
2.
Oh. Pobrecito, well, Steven, ¿por qué? What happened?
Oh, would you stop?
Did you say 2 on purpose? Just
well,
I don't know why whenever somebody's sad, I feel like I need to become Hispanic.
I'm not sad. I'm not sad. I'm tired.
Okay,
I'm going on.
2, come on.
So I started driving Lyft last Friday.
Oh, I love Lyft.
Oh, my goodness.
I drive Lyft.
Wow, Steven, you're just like, you're just an all-American guy. You can be King Tut one week. You can be doing Lyft the next week. Jeez. I need Steven's life.
No, you don't.
Okay, so then where are we? Wait, am I missing anybody?
You.
On me. I'm probably about an 8. I'm probably an 8.
That's good.
I was a hot mess last night because of all the refugees down here at the border, but I'm just like really, really good today. Really good. I haven't cried. So it's been a good day. And I'm just happy to be back in a GOGI meeting.
I thought maybe you'd go throw some GOGI Spanish books over.
Let me tell you, I am so close. It is very difficult for me not to go down there. It really is. And Nikos was like, you know, I really don't want you going down there. And yeah. I had to do my GOGI because my first thought was, okay, he never tells me anything, right? He never tells me what to do or not to do. And so my first instinct was, excuse me? You know, like, I do me. I go whatever. I'll tell you when I get home. But then, you know, I had to stop and think about it, and he's right. It is dangerous, and
yes,
I can give this stuff to people, but you know me, I want to go down there and reach through the fence, you know? I want to, like, you know, smile and speak my broken Spanish to the little kids, or, you know, and I'd probably get locked up, and really, really trying to stay not locked up. So I reached out to a group that's down here, and they're going to take my stuff.
Okay.
So I did my GOGI. I respected what Nico said. I'm proud of myself.
That's good.
Yeah, that's really good because it's just not normal. It's not normal for me. So
you are a reactor.
I am a reactor, especially when it's like heartstring stuff. You know, I'm just like, let's just go. Who cares what's going to happen? Let's go. That's usually how I get myself in trouble.
Exactly, because you have to care how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I do have to care how it goes, and I have to respect somebody else's feelings. And I'm thinking, well, he's locked up. I can still do whatever I want, right?
No, not just like that. It's just making sense. That is just such a hot mess down there that, you know.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. And it would just be stupid of me to go down there, period. You know, just it is. It's, I mean, like I was telling Rebecca, there's helicopters all over the place. I mean, spotlights. It's just a lot going on. So I just know me. I'd see somebody like push somebody, and I'd be like, "Hey, what's your problem?" And that would be it.
Yeah.
Popo would have me in cuffs.
Then you go back to jail.
Yeah, I know. Really trying to avoid that. So, all right. So, what's the code? I assume you got the code there, Stephen. Sorry about that.
I didn't. Apparently, I didn't need it. I just had to go there and click on it. But
yeah.
Then I had some other problems, and I turned my whole phone off. So.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
Well, you know, not a whole lot we can do with all your other problems, but you know, let's see what GOGI can do for you tonight.
What do you mean? So yeah. So. Wow.
Okay, so hey, I haven't been around for 2 weeks. Okay, let's go. All right, let's call our meeting to order. Stephen, would you like to do that for us, please, Coach?
Coach. Oh.
Coach Stephen.
Hang on. How am I doing that?
He doesn't.
Oh, you just called in?
On his phone.
Okay. So you can't see my screen? That's cool. No worries. No worries.
I'm doing it on a phone. I'm talking on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a computer.
All right. Oh yeah, some of us can do it on our phone and see it too, but that's okay. That'll be next week's crash course. Monica loves doing this part anyways. Monica, do you want to go ahead and
failing? That's why.
Call the meeting to order?
Of course. We call this meeting to order. The purpose of GOGI is to provide simple tools to anyone interested in making more positive decisions in their lives. The goal of the PowerUp is to create a purpose and meaning of service for that week. That is where the GOGI gets their power. We power up by living a life of service.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Savina, would you like to read our 12 tools for positive decision making?
Sure. Yes, I would be glad to. Boss of my brain. The GOGI tools for positive decision making are boss of my brain, belly breathing, 5-second light switch, positive thoughts, positive words, positive actions, claim responsibility, let go, forgive, what if, reality check, and ultimate freedom.
Perfect. Thank you. Who can tell us what last week's tool was?
Claim responsibility.
Claim responsibility. And when we claim responsibility, is the tool claim responsibility the same as the action? I guess you would call it an action of claiming responsibility.
No.
No. What's the difference between those two?
Somebody has to help me out.
Is when somebody tells you that you need to claim responsibility for something, is it typically a positive or a negative thing?
It's people usually go to the negative.
Right? So it's usually something negative, but the tool claim responsibility, we're claiming responsibility for what? For what we did yesterday?
Actions, for our thinking, for what we're going to do going forward.
From when to when? Today, right?
From this moment.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we're claiming responsibility for our actions and today, and which will, if positive, hopefully will lead us to positive actions tomorrow. So what is the question we ask ourselves with that tool?
Am I proud of my decision?
Right. So before we go to make a decision or after we've made a decision, am I proud of this decision? If not, then we work on a more positive decision next time. So the tool claim responsibility helps us to not repeat the negative actions of our past. By being able to claim responsibility for what we're doing today, then and if we're proud of what we're doing today, then that's going to set us on a positive note for tomorrow and the next day after that. So it helps us distance ourselves from our past by not dwelling on it and being proud of who we are today.
Or
Does anybody have any other thoughts about claim?
Yeah, because I think it also makes you it hopefully makes you think before you make the decision that would be a poor decision. Because that's it. Actually, I did, even though it was the week of claim responsibility, it really helped me last week in that I didn't go ahead and do something without getting permission to be able to do it. I was just I needed to send stuff in, and I was kind of afraid to ask my boss, because he's an attorney, if I could use our address to send stuff in so it wouldn't get looked at. But I just kept thinking he might say no, and then what was I going to do? Because I really needed to get this stuff in. But eventually I asked, and he said it was okay, and so that put me so much more at ease, and I didn't want to not, because what if I did send it in and he wasn't okay with it and it came back that I did that, I could lose my job, over the trust. And, I thought, that would be way worse for me. So I had to, be brave enough to ask. And I did.
Well,
and
shoot, can you send some stuff in for me too now?
Huh?
Can you send some stuff in for me too now? Just some pictures.
Oh.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Does anybody else have any comments on last week's tool, claim responsibility? Okay. Then, Rebecca, would you like to read our GOGI National Calendar bit here, please?
Sure. According to the GOGI National Calendar, students of GOGI are studying the tool of let go this week.
Thank you. And let's just verify that. Let's just make sure. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Fourth week of November. Let go. All right. Martha, can you see the screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, Martha, would you like to read our statement of ownership for Let Go, please?
Sure. The best statement of ownership. The best way to focus on living in the present and moving forward is if I let go of anything which has held me back. When I let it go, I move forward and I am setting myself free.
Perfect, thank you. So we want to repeat this week's statement of ownership as often as possible before we get out of bed, before our meals, during a break, and before sleeping. If we write this statement we should write this statement for added emphasis. And our weekly statement of ownership reinforces this week's tool. Okay. So who wants to tell me the weeks to study Let Go?
I will.
Okay.
Weeks to study Let Go. 4th week of February, 4th week of May, 4th week of August, and the 4th week of November.
Perfect, thank you. All right, so keywords for Let Go.
Yay!
Hand squash toss. So when bothered, I put the feeling in my hand, squash it, and hold it really, really close to me and hug it and kiss it and never let it.
No.
Is that what we do? No. What do we do after we squash it?
Toss it away.
Toss it away. Aren't too many things that we want to keep squashed. Yeah.
I found that
All right. I love this Yogi yoga picture.
I colored that. I actually found that if I write stuff down on a piece of paper, stuff that's bothering me, and burn that piece of paper so it's no longer in existence, it helps me a lot more.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. The physical act of doing something a lot of the time is reinforcing. Okay. So our objective for Let Go, your goal this week is to practice the power of putting problems in your hand, then squashing them and tossing them away. This tool called Let Go will permit you to hand, squash, toss anything that might stand in your way of change. Can anybody think of anything right now that they would like to hand, squash, toss that maybe they've been struggling with?
Sorry. I was going to ask the gentleman that has been in prison if he can give me an idea of what my son would be able to do being in solitary confinement.
Stephen, you're the only gentleman on the.
Stephen is his name, yes.
First of all, that whole gentleman thing, that's what threw me. I was like, who is she talking to?
No, the gentleman thing is what threw him off.
I was like, who is she talking to here?
That's funny. Hey, Martha doesn't know you yet, okay? She's going with gentleman. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Stephen's a wonderful man.
I am? Wow.
No, but her son Eric is he's at the Bay. And
okay.
How much longer? I don't know how that works. Martha, does he know how much longer he has, or is it one of those? I mean, it's not unlimited like it used to be, right?
No, they initially put him in indefinite, but they changed the law, so they gave him 4 years. So he's on his 3rd year.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
So I guess the question I have is, is he actually doing GOGI? Is he doing this stuff, or?
Well, I know that he was sent some material. I'm sorry, my memory is very bad. I'm not sure what he was. I don't remember what he was sent, but he was sent.
Yeah, we sent him the How to GOGI book. We sent him the How to GOGI book for sure. I think this was back before we actually had the companion book. So he has the How to GOGI book with him.
And I want some tools, so he has the tools. And he did mention to me when I went to visit him this last time that he was interested in it, but I'm not sure if somebody told him or if he concluded by himself that if he was, once he was released to general population, if he had done the GOGI course already in the cell, that he would not be able to participate.
Oh yeah, and that's not true.
See, so that's why I was asking you, Tamara, if you can please, reiterate to him that he's not wasting his time by doing the course in his cell right now. I mean, I would like for him. He is already very self-motivated and very level-tempered already compared to how he used to. But I just don't. I have absolutely no idea what prison is like. I have no idea what he is experiencing. He tells me he's not to listen to what other people say.
Hey, you guys, hold on a second. You guys, whoever's not speaking, can you guys mute yourselves real quick? Because we're getting a lot of feedback.
Yeah, a whole lot.
So
okay, that's better.
Just wondering what, if Stephen can please give me an idea of what, how, because when I write to my son, I don't know what to write to him as to, you can try this to let go. I don't know how.
Right.
I want to encourage him.
Right.
So,
how old is he, first of all?
How old is he?
Yeah.
He's 28. He's been incarcerated since he was 16.
Okay. So, the first thing I can tell you is that, to be supportive of him, of what he's doing, if it's positive stuff, but also to show some tough love. Let him know. I mean, this is what worked for me, was the fact that my friends and family let me know that in no uncertain terms if I was going to continue to act the way that
You're breaking up, Stephen.
If I was going to continue to act the way that I was, that got me in prison, and that that wasn't going to work. That they were not going to be there to help me to continue to do that. So make sure that that's clear, first of all, because I can tell you that that it works. Secondly, you can't. It sounds like he's getting the material and he's doing it. Now I can tell you that what is being told to you guys on the outside is completely different from what happens inside. The CRMs and wardens and lieutenants and people who you have contact with who tell you, oh no, they're allowed to do this stuff and we help them out all we can. They're full of it. They make it as difficult as they can. They try everything they can to make sure that guys do not have the ability to complete these programs. It defeats their purpose, which is to keep us in prison, keep us locked up, and guarantee their jobs. So
what's probably a CO that told him that then?
Yeah, so it is tough.
Okay, but he can still do in-cell. Nobody can stop you from doing in-cell GOGI if it's sent into you, though, right, Stephen?
Well, he's in Pelican Bay, so everything that all right, so you don't really get anything, even if you're not in a SHU program. Everything that comes to you is gone through. So you're still at the whim of a state employee, a lieutenant, a sergeant, deciding whether or not you're allowed to have what is being sent to you. So it's even worse if you're in a shoe program. It makes it even more difficult to get stuff because there's a limit to what you can have. Certain amount of mail, certain amount of books, you're limited.
Right.
And they do, part of the shoe program is that they talk a whole lot of crap to guys up there. They're like, why are you doing this stuff? It's not going to do you any good. You're never going to be any good. It's difficult. So I would, your original question is, what can you write to him? So I would write to him and tell him that life is really good out here. Is he doing a life term or just a long?
They gave him a 76 years to life sentence, but he's not. I don't think he's going to do that. I think once he changes, God's going to be.
He's under the youth bill, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so he won't. He'll be going to his first hearing after 25 years, or actually less than that. So,
well, I just would like for you to give me an idea of, like, when I say, like today we talked about to let go, to give me an idea of what I could say. Like, for example, what happens to him that I could, you just gave me an example. When a CO tells you that you can't do something, you scrunch it up in your hand, throw it in the trash, and say, "Yes, I can."
Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. So never believe what anybody tells you inside.
Right. So there's something you can do is tell him that what he can do is do exactly what you just said, and none of this program requires that he have the material in his possession, because you can always write to him and tell him exactly what he needs to know about it and what to do, and all he has to do is have the desire to do it. He doesn't require.
Well, he has the work though. I mean, he has the book, so he can read it.
So if he does have it, then tell him that that it's not about necessarily getting out of prison. That's a big thing, but working through all of these tools and adopting them will help him to be at peace with wherever he's at, and help him to change the old decision-making process and lifestyle that he was leading, obviously until 3 years ago, or however long it was when he was put in the shoe, and was still in that sort of lifestyle. They tell him that these tools will help him get away from that and lead the life that he's meant to lead, instead of the one that he's leading because he's allowing others to do the thinking for him. He's allowing others to be the boss of his brain instead of doing it for himself.
Okay.
So that's what I would encourage him by writing him. Just, he doesn't have to continue doing that. There's nothing cool about it. It's a really limited mindset to believe that you're somebody because you do these things in prison. Nobody cares except the guys that are in prison. And once you've gone to a shoe or to the hole, or God forbid, to the infirmary or hospital because you've been hurt, all of those guys who are your friends that are so-called encouraging you and doing it, they don't care about you. They move on to the next person. They could care less about you, and in fact, they're talking bad about you as soon as you're gone. So it's all of just a false way of being. That what's real is out here, and you don't have to wait to get out here to have that. He can live it in there and prepare himself for when he does get out.
Yeah.
And Martha, one of the coaches that didn't call in tonight, Ernesto, who is at Solano, it was in the shoe that he made the decision that he was going to do better, and it was in the shoe that he did GOGI. And he figured he might be in that shoe forever. And he did as much GOGI as he could do, and he knew he was going to be better than who he was at that point. And he just knew he was going to be let out, and he was let out. Now he's a peer coach. He should be getting out soon. So I really wish I could. I'm going to see if I can get Ernesto to maybe write a letter of encouragement or something. I'm not really sure how that would work, but he is a very big believer in the SHU being one of the best places to be when you're learning GOGI, because you are solitary and you have just yourself and there's no distractions. And I'll tell you, Coach Taylor tells me all the time, one of the biggest GOGI groups, one of the best ones she has as far as the guys that are doing it are at the Bay. GOGI is big at the Bay. So
Martha,
I just encourage him to use that time to learn everything he can from, he shouldn't wait till he gets out. He should prepare his mind now.
Martha.
Listen, I had 3 very good friends of mine who I met through GOGI in Solano, who all came out of a SHU term, and every single one of them was found suitable and released from prison before I was.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
you never give up. It works. It works.
Yeah, and it seems to work better sometimes when you're in the hole. Guys.
He has said that he wants to change. He just doesn't know how.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you, if he just, if he opens that book, the next time you talk to him, ask him if he's read any of the book, and confirm what we sent him, because I know we sent him the book, but I don't think the companion course was there yet. But like I said, I just today sent him this here, our tool chapter. I'll send him the tool chapter every week, and then once a month when the trifecta comes out, I'll send him a copy of our newsletter. But what's attached to this, if you see, when I scroll down here, at the end, there's 3 worksheets, right? So this is a weekly guide worksheet. There's a daily question that he can complete. And then there's my gift to GOGI, and this is where people draw art, write letters, poems, whatever they want, if they want to do that. And there's one for each tool. So if he wanted to, he could just start learning GOGI by reading the book and kind of going through one of these like we do every Monday.
Okay.
And then if he likes it, I can get a certificate course into him for him to complete.
Listen, hey, Tamara, listen. So
yeah,
there's something that I heard you say that I heard from numerous guys that I facilitated in groups inside, and that is a cop-out, and that is that I want to change, I want to be better, I just don't know how. That's a cop-out.
Mm-hmm.
It's an excuse, because we all know how. We all know who we were raised to be, and all we have to do is attach to that, and that is what will turn your life around. The other stuff is a cop-out. It's fear. It's fear that the people who we think are our friends, who have encouraged us to be bad, are not going to like us if they see who the true person we are. And that's just a cop-out. There's that's something else you can write. When he says that, call him on it. Tell him no, that's crap. You know exactly what you need to do. You need to be the son that I raised. You need to be the person that you know you're capable of being. That's all you need to do. All the rest of that crap is just phony, gangster, criminal crap. That's all it is.
Well, he is a gang member, but he's not. He doesn't have a criminal mind.
Martha, this is Joanne. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. My husband was in solitary confinement for 9 years straight. I decided to get married with him now because he changed his whole life around. When I knew him from out here, and when he got in the hole, he was doing really, really bad. He was put up in politics. He's still GP right now. He's still in general population. He's been out the hole for 2 years. I decided to get married with him because I seen the change in him. He introduced me to GOGI. My husband was, excuse my language, fucked up in the head. He was sick. He all he wanted to do was hurt people.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
and he hit rock bottom in the shoe. He let go. He became humble, and he started educating himself in the hole. I didn't believe it. I thought it was just all BSing that he because he wanted to get out of there, or because he didn't think he was going to get out of the hole, just like a lot of these people were. Um, Eventually, he's a believer in God. He doesn't practice religion, but he's a believer in God, and lose faith, because just like Steven said, it's a cop out. And you're gonna call him on it, and he's gonna get pissed off at you. He's gonna get mad at you. He's gonna probably tell you off. He's probably not gonna talk to you for a couple of days. But you need to hear that. You need to hear it sometimes, because I don't have to call out my husband out in anything no more. He recognizes now, and he teaches me. There's little few things that I talk to him about. I don't lose that faith in him, because he's gonna lose it in you, because he's gonna think that you're bullying him, and that you're against him, and this and that. But it's possible. And if he's ready to change, like Steven said, he's gonna change, because they have all the tools in there to change. It's gonna be harder for them to do it. Just be patient, because I'm telling you, if you guys would have known my husband then, just the way he thinks is like, no, forget it, and he's like day and night now. He's still general population. He's still hanging out with the homies. But he positioned himself in a way that he doesn't need to be out politicking, being a politician or anything. He knows where he's at. So he uses, it's like playing chess. It's not an option for him to switch yards or anything like that. We discussed that already, and I announced this a couple of weeks ago. We were thinking he was going to go to parole to 2024, and he's a youth offender. Well, as the laws change, he qualifies for the youth offender. The commissioner that's going to hear his case told him that he has not seen anybody as prepared as he is, and the only thing that will keep him in there and not get a date will be his 1030s, and he has to be very honest and very clear about the 1030s. And the 1030s are the associations he has in there, and that's the only thing that's going to keep him. So it's really going to him keep him in there. So it is possible for your son to come home sooner. He's going next year to board, and God's hand, and he's and if he's prepared to come home, then he's going to come home next year. So don't lose hope. GOGI did open up doors for my husband and change his ways, and more of it because he was willing to let this and whatever else he took it in those in classes in there. So just bear with him. Just bear with him, because it's going to be hard, and it's probably going to be harder for you than him, because he is going to shut those doors on you. He is going to be mad at you because he needs to blame somebody, because he's probably not ready to blame himself yet.
Well, the whole thing about being ready for change is really important. And everybody's ready for change at different times in their life. So if he's really ready for it, I think he should really take advantage of the fact that he's in this shoe. Because I know it's miserable, but without all the distractions, this is a perfect time for him to really get to know him and soul search and do his self-help and do his incel and read GOGI and really learn how to apply it, so that when he does get out, he has that strength and that momentum built up for when, he's back on a yard and there's like all this temptation and there's all this pressure and everything else. You want to build yourself up and let go of everything now, resentments or fear or whatever it is,
Yeah.
but he needs to just let go of anything and anybody that says he can't do it, because he can. He can.
Yeah. And
Yep.
I have a suspicion that it was probably a CO that probably told him that.
Probably. And the COs will tell them whatever they want to hear to dash their hopes and to make them feel absolutely useless. That's part of their job requisite. It's part of being who they are. And that's why GOGI would be so good, because It doesn't matter what anybody says, what anybody tells him. No one, it can make him think a certain way, feel a certain way, act a certain way, or react a certain way, because he is boss of his brain. And so once he learns that, then it's not going to matter what any of those jokers say to him. You know, he knows what he's going to do, and it can be accomplished.
Yes.
Hopefully sooner rather than later, but everybody will at some point come to that.
Yes.
That place, and he's young, so he's got a lot of life ahead of him.
He does read a lot, so
tell him to read GOGI.
And he is trying to better himself.
That's good. That's good. Well, hopefully, you know, I've sent him some stuff. Hopefully, maybe I'll hear from him, get a little bit of feedback, and I'll definitely keep in touch with him.
Okay. Well,
you know, and give him some encouragement. Awesome. Very welcome. So Martha's going to work on letting go of worrying about her son, at least for the rest of the day. Right, Martha?
Yes.
for the rest of the night, at least.
Well, I don't call it worry. I mean, right now it is worry, but normally I worry about him. I think he's very level-headed. I know everyone, including the TV, calls it a form of torture. I think being celled up with somebody else is a form of torture. And I constantly remind my son, thank God you're alone. You don't have to put up with anybody else's disgustingness or anybody else's ignorance. You can just talk to yourself, talk to God, what you want, and read as much as you can and exercise when you want. And
he gets visits, Martha? Did you say you get to visit him?
I behind glass, yes, for 3 hours. But no,
I don't. That's wonderful. I didn't realize they got any visits in the show.
Yes, I get to visit him. I just don't get to talk to him on the phone. He doesn't get any phone. But he does get. I mean, if I live closer, I live in the desert in Palmdale, so it's a 13-hour drive that I cannot do due to my physical limitations. But there was a time that he kept saying he wants to move forward. He wants to move closer and closer. But he later said, "Well, I'm just going to stay here," and I was glad that he finally accepted that he's going to be there. And the council, or when he goes to, I guess every so often they go to a meeting, or he talks to people. Committee, yeah. He goes to committee, and they told him that he's not going to leave Pelican Bay. He's going to stay there. He's going to do the rest of his time there. And he accepted it. He didn't get upset about it. And
good.
And I was glad about it, that, you know, that he didn't get upset about it.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Well, let's see what we can do to help him with it with GOGI. And if he's, you know, if he reads the book and he's really interested, you know, I can definitely get another course into him.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'll start talking to him using the GOGI terms that you guys use.
Yeah. Yeah. It starts becoming habit. Yeah. It starts becoming habit. Does anybody have anything that they would like to hand squash toss? Off the top of your head?
I need to let go of the fact that Michael is dealing with a lot of stuff and I can't help him through it. He has to depend on his legal counsel and himself to get him through what he's dealing with.
Yeah. He's got a lot on his plate. But you're right. You can only take on so much. you know?
Exactly.
But that's hard.
I'm only one person.
It's very
and
hard.
not Superwoman, as he claims.
Hmm.
Well, you are to him.
Well, yeah. But to me, I'm not.
You are to him. Well, but now, you know, you've got a couple people to kind of take the load off a little bit, you know, if he's going to have a couple people to write to. That way it's not all on you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's better to get, you know, other perspectives and things like that. So.
Right. And that's the other thing I feel bad about. Like, I haven't been writing him as much because we talk on the phone so much. So it's like, what more can I say in a letter that I haven't said over the phone 15 phone calls a day? Like,
yeah.
I just, it's pointless.
Maybe you just say all the stuff you don't say. You know, I'm proud of you. Hang in there. What, you know, I don't know. Yeah, I'm the same way. Since Nico has email, you know, it's we don't write as much. But he said something to me the other day that he says, I just like holding something that I know was in your hands. I like being able to hold it and know that this came from you, and I almost can feel you writing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's you know, and I mean, I feel the same way, but not to the extent that they probably do. But it's like, oh my, okay, let me try to write something again. Right. So yeah, it's important to them.
And you have to send the envelope.
Right.
Yep.
You have to what?
You have to spray perfume on the envelope.
You know what? You have to be very careful because some of these prisons don't let you do that stuff.
Okay, but you're not
CCI?
You're not dousing.
No, I know that.
It's because
I know, but CCI sent something back.
Well, he puts it under his pillow, and then that way it's really soothing for him because then it like reminds him of me, and then he'll be, you know, it calms him.
Yeah, but you know what? CCI is really bad about that. But Delano, yes. Delano, yes. I've pulled that off of Delano, but when I was with Corey, I couldn't send anything.
Speaking of Delano,
it was an unknown substance.
Oh, I've never had a problem. Anywhere that he's ever been, I've always sprayed my, you know, I spray my perfume.
You must have it must be like a pheromone thing or something like that.
Do you guys think that
like different perfumes? I have thousands of dollars in perfume because that's my thing. But I use it on the letters. I just spray. I don't like directly spray. You spray and then you put the letter through the.
Yeah, you wave it. Yeah. Yeah, you wave it.
I have a question. Michael's already been through reception and he's already in state, just transferred back to county. Do you think he'll go through reception again?
No.
Okay, good. So once he's done with court, he'll just go back to CCI?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It just, you know what, it just might be, who knows if they're going to be idiots and make him wait about a week, but he doesn't have to go through the same stuff he did before. You just have to wait for his property to come back to him.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question.
Okay, anybody else have anything they want to hand squash toss?
Hey,
go ahead, Hollywood.
I have a question.
Number two.
Hang on.
Mr. Hollywood, go ahead.
Okay, so my question is he? They took him out to court? Is that right?
He has court tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, so what prison was he in?
CCI.
CCI.
So does he live in a dorm or in a cell?
He's dorm living.
Okay, so what'll happen is when he comes back, he'll go right back to where he was, even on the same bunk. If you just go out to court, you don't lose unless you go out for weeks or months.
Yeah.
Just for
well, that's what he is. He's facing new charges.
Yeah.
So
he's facing.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to have arraignments, and then so he'll go right back where he was. Yeah. He won't. Okay. He won't. They won't. You know, he'll get his property right when he gets back, and he won't go to reception. There'll be none of that. Okay. He'll go right back where he was. Yeah. He's already through that. Now, should he pick up more time that adds points, they may transfer him to a different prison, but I doubt it. He would have to be a serious violent felony for him to get that. So
CCI is about as bad as you can get. It's a 1A
right?
level 4, and it's
I know.
horrible.
I was there. I started there. Where's he at? Is he at 4A or 4B?
He's at level 2.
Oh yeah, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. Yeah,
But
he's on level 2 there. He's going to go right back there.
He's looking at 2 life sentences and a 16-year sentence. So I don't know.
Okay.
But you know that it's BS.
Yeah, it is BS.
Okay. Well, he's going to get out of it, and that won't be.
Right. But yeah, don't worry. He's going to go right back there. Yeah, don't worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Hollywood.
Wow.
I gave you that name. I made that name up.
Hey, just so you know, when I become famous, all of you can have autographs except Tamara. She doesn't get one. She has to pay.
He's already told me this. He's already told me this.
Thank you.
Oh, whatever. The person who picked him up for the first PowerUp. But you know what? But I don't get nothing but rocks. Whatever.
Hey, stop trying to be like me, man.
I know. I'm trying. Whatever.
Please.
All right.
Please.
Okay. GOGI knows there are things in your past. Let's do this. GOGI knows there are things in your past that might seem too big to ever move beyond. Sometimes it seems as if the bad stuff has controlled and defined your life. That is sometimes a normal way to feel. You can use a GOGI tool called Let Go for the big things, but also for the daily little things. You can begin to use this tool to get past the daily irritations that happen to everyone. The GOGI tool Let Go gives anyone the power to move beyond the past and even helps them move gracefully away from heated situations in the present. You can just tell Coach wrote that. Gracefully away from the heated situations in the present. She's so zen. Surprisingly, Let Go even works for the emotions attached to future expectations. How can one GOGI tool be such a handy helper for past, present, and future? For the answer, let's look at the keywords for this tool. The keywords for Let Go are hand, squashity toss. Hand squash toss came about when GOGI students were trying very diligently to move beyond the past, but they struggled in clearing the path that would permit them to change and grow. They would make all effort, but in the end, the baggage they carried from the past was too heavy, and they would end up making the same mistakes over and over again. It seemed as if the past had a tight grip on them, and this grip tightened even more intensely as they became committed to a better future. Giving it the let go and using their hand squash toss gave them the needed space they needed. It doesn't make sense. Gave them the needed space they needed to act on the change they wanted. By placing thoughts of the negative emotions or situation in their hand, then squashing it, then tossing it, the student was able to make decisions without the tight grip of the past adversely impacting the positive outcome they were willing to work toward. Given the pain or the problem, the hand squash toss became the way in which our students learned to let go of anything and everything that could keep them from making the most positive decision today. Many of our students rely on Let Go for the little things in life, these little irritants of daily life, when compounded day after day, can become debilitating. But when the issue is no longer permitted to linger as an emotion, the individual is able to move forward without the heavy baggage of accumulated disappointments. Many of our students state that they began using Let Go to deal with irritating noises or petty personality issues, but gradually they began to rely on let go to help with the bigger things of the past. However you decide to use your GOGI tool let go, you can rely on one thing. Giving it the hand squash toss will free you from the grip of the past. The GOGI tool let go is truly a tool for moving forward. So we can use the tool let go for what? Just the big ones? Just the big whammies?
No, for anything.
Everything.
Right? Irritants. Little, like she was saying, a lot of times people start using let go for the small things, and then they see that it can work for the bigger things. But the smaller things are probably the things that we see more often, right? The little irritants during the day. Like for these guys, maybe they're celly chewing with their mouth open, or like I know for Nico. For Nico, his biggest issue is his celly is on the top bunk until Nico gets up to start doing something in the cell to clean up, and then all of a sudden his celly has to be down too. And he's like, the cell is not big enough for two dudes to be walking around at the same time. And it makes him absolutely nuts. And so he hand squash tosses all the time. And fortunately, Sally got a promotion and got a new job. And so he's gone almost all day. And it's something that works out, but it's difficult. Nico has a very short fuse. So it can work for the little things and then for the big things. What do you guys think about what we read? Any comments on that?
What would be the difference of hand squash toss? Would be what would be so wrong with addressing the problem?
That is you addressing the problem. That's you, like, dealing with the fact that you can't always fix something, I would assume, or you can fix anything you want to fix, actually. You're just dealing with the fact that you could put it in your hand and throwing it away, because you don't have to deal with the bad part. You can bring a good part out of it.
Well, and it could be like, let's say, like one of the things that we're talking about is the baggage of the past. So let's say that there's something from our past that we have a hard time letting go of. There's really nothing that can be done about it. There's no resolution, whatever it is. We could just, like for me, we could say guilt, just guilt. You know, guilt of being a single mom, and I always feel like I didn't do enough, right? Or guilt because of my failed marriages. You know, there's things that we have a hard time getting past. So if we practice the whole hand squash toss, then it gives us a sense of being free. Now, if there's an issue that we're having with an individual, then yeah, we would probably want to try to work it out. But if it's like little idiosyncrasies about somebody, like irritants or a CO telling you can't do something or something like that, instead of being angry, it's like just getting it away, physically kind of just tossing it away so it's not occupying our time.
Can I say something about this?
Yes.
So
yeah.
So listen. So here's the thing. You're absolutely right. You know, with dealing with things in the past that we can't go back and change it. Then yeah, that's the things that we start with let go. But as far as like dealing with somebody else, like to use your example, a celly who, because I've had this experience numerous times, who as soon as I decide to get up and do something, he has to be on the floor. And you're right, there's not enough room, even in the big shoe cells, there's not enough room for two grown men to be on the floor at the same time. So you can absolutely try and resolve the issue and deal with it and have that conversation, but it's much easier to do once you've already let go of any of the anger or issues that you may have around this person not doing what you want them to do, because at the end of the day, we cannot control what another human being does, only ourselves. So in order to be able to speak with someone rationally about how we might want to see things change, we have to first let go of the resentment and the anger we have over that issue. So let go is the perfect tool for that.
A good way to to look at it. So we actually let go before we even have the conversation.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. It works for me.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Because that way, then the conversation you have isn't likely to get heated and violent. You can actually have a conversation that doesn't have a whole lot of emotion in it, because you've let
I'm
go.
no longer mad at the person, and I no longer want to control what that person's doing because I've already dealt with my issues. Then I can more rationally have a discussion with somebody about, hey, what I'd like to see happen is that when I get up to clean, or if I'm up doing something that I'd be allowed to have that space, and I'll do the same for you. Now, understanding that the other person might, say, hey, screw that, you're not telling me what to do. Okay. And then you move on. But so you're no longer angry about it because you've already dealt with that resentment.
Right.
It's gone because you've let it go.
Right.
You squashed it up and thrown
So
it away.
instead of saying, look, man, you need to keep your ass on the cot, blah, 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 which, I can totally see my man doing, because that's the way he talks. But you're dealing with that.
Belly breathing and boss for your brain at the same time as well.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
absolutely.
and most of that's the great thing about the tools.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're using you might use a GOGI 6-pack on somebody. You might have to use like 6 tools all at once.
Yep.
They all go together. Get something resolved. So
they all go together.
I use this more for me personally as a throughout the day kind of a thing. Throughout the day, I use it for the big things. I do use it for the big things. Like there's times when I miss my daughters. There's times when maybe I have a squabble with one of them, and all of the crap from the past or whatever, it all comes back, and you have to just, I'm now where I'm not even having to squash the stuff. I'm just getting a baseball bat and just hitting it out of the way as it's coming and being flung at me, right? I mean, I'm just like ducking and weaving and everything, but there's some things that I will probably have to hand squash toss for the rest of my life. So it's not like we can just hand squash toss something once and it'll work on big things sometimes. We might be hand squashing for the rest of our life, but having the ability to do that is what's going to be important.
Okay, so the important part is hand squashing it and really dealing with that emotion first, and then addressing if needed to be addressing the problem. The point is to release the emotion first, the anger, the upsetment, whatever it is first. I understand now.
And you know what you find sometimes? If you're able to hand squash toss the feeling or the anger, sometimes we feel we're able to move past that without needing to address it. I think it gives us that choice of, okay, well, I feel better. I don't need to talk to them about it. Or, you know what, this is like the 5th time I've had a hand squash toss, this same thing. I think I need to now kind of talk to them about it. But at least now you're on a more emotional, even keel, you know?
I've been having to hand squash toss a lot of stuff with my mother because she doesn't understand a lot of the things that I'm going through. So when like you just said, I have to hand squash toss like 5 or 6 different times, and I'm like, what the hell, I can't deal with this anymore. So I go to her and I'm like, listen, Mom, whatever. And she's like, oh, now I understand. I didn't get why you were reacting that way. So I mean, it does work.
Well, it helps you approach something on an even basis. It's hard. Right. It's hard for people to understand when all they're hearing or feeling from us is raw emotion. And a lot of times, I mean, we tune people out when they're like that, right? We really do sometimes. So it at least lets you have a conversation instead of a screaming match.
Right, exactly.
And I'm the kind of person where I'm a reactor. So I'm like, I want to hand squash toss them first. And then let me worry about everything after. So
Yeah,
I'm like instantly, I'm one of those people where I instantly want to get in their face. Let's deal with it now. Let's work it out now. Let's fix it now. Whereas a lot of times, if I just wait 5 minutes, I'm not even upset anymore. I don't even know what the heck I was upset about. I'm ADD off on something else, right? So if I at least give myself the time to sit and hand squash toss it, 90% of the time, I don't even need to talk to the person about it. Whereas me talking to them upset would have made everything 10 times worse, and has in the past.
Yeah, my
and I'm sitting there like, I should have just left that alone. I wouldn't have made a fool out of myself. You know?
Yep.
So it's a good tool. It's preventative for me. Doesn't always work, but it's always good. But you know what? I'm telling you, it does work. I told you guys, I've been at this job almost a year. And these tools work because I have not yet to get in trouble for anything. I've never even had a phone call where somebody says, do you think you could have handled that better? I've never not heard that in my life. My whole life has been, hey, do you think you could have handled that a little bit better? And I have not gotten talked to once. And that's never happened to me before. So thank you, GOGI.
Yeah, right.
I'm like what they call a model employee now. It's awesome.
My attitude has come a long way since I started using GOGI. Like I mean, you guys remember how I used to be when I first started doing this, and now I'm a lot more even keel. I wouldn't say calm, but we're getting there.
You're not as Boston Mayhem-y as you were in the beginning.
Yeah, and I kind of miss my Boston Mayhem name. I don't hear it as much anymore.
It's not too far at any given time, I'm sure. Don't worry. All right, so you guys, let's practice. Let's do, I love all of these. Look, there's all that baggage. We're going to hand squash toss all of that baggage. She needs some clothes, pardon me. Okay. Let's do the activity. Let's read this. This actually, I got out of one of the books. It just added this. I can't think it was from the pink book. It said, I let go of my past pain. I let go of things that hold me back. I am free when I let go. Here is how I let go every day in hand squash toss. Identify what is holding me back, causing me grief, or keeping me sad, mad, or stuck in old habits. Put it in your hand. I imagine that thought or feeling in my hand, out of my mind and out of my body. Squash it. I crumple up that thought or feeling. I have the power to squash it. Toss it. I can let go and toss it in the trash or the toilet or the sky or to the ground. I let go and let it go. Okay? So, where is our activity? I love this activity. Let's make this a little bit. Oh, this must be down here. Oh, activity. There we go. Okay. So let's each of us, and it's always better if you actually have a piece of paper, like a Post-it or something. So if you guys have a piece of paper close to you, grab it because that's where you get the really good effect. Or one of those squeezy balls. I actually have a couple squeezy balls too. So, oops. Okay, so let's all think about something that bothers us. Okay. So everybody think about it. Think about something that's been bothering you lately, you have an issue with, write it down if you have a piece of paper. If you don't, write on your hand. Your mom won't get mad. It'll come off. So everybody let me know when they've like gotten their thing that they have that's bothering them.
I have my thing. My thing has always been my thing.
Okay. Everybody got their thing?
Where did Mon go? I haven't heard her.
Oh, Monica?
Yeah.
I'm
here.
here.
She's here.
Oh, okay.
I'm here. Okay.
I'm
All
being
right.
a big
So,
ear.
you got or whatever. Okay, so let's hold out our hands, right? First of all, we wrote it down, or if we don't have anything to write on, visualizing, taking whatever that is that's bothering us, visualize, get your hand out and visualize putting that in your hand. Okay, so it's in your hand. This thing that's bothering you, or this person, or whatever it is. Okay. So it's in the palm of your hand. I like where that stated it's out of your body, right? It's out of your mind, it's out of your heart, whatever. It's out of your body, it's in your hand. Now let's squash it. Bring your fingers together and squash it. And if it helps, think about 4 or 5 of your GOGI tools squashing that sucker, right? Squash it really good. Crumple up all the emotions around it and everything. Smash that sucker. And then, you know what it doesn't say? Where's number 4? Why doesn't it say throw it? Well, it should be number 4 here that says now release it, right? So throw it. Throw that thing. Come on, I want to hear everybody's joints popping from throwing it so hard. Throw it away.
Yeah. Now I got to pick it up before my dog eats it.
No, you don't. No, you cannot pick it up. You cannot pick it up.
I don't want to get up. I'm too lazy right now.
It cannot be a boomerang. You cannot be a boomerang where it goes and it comes right back to you, right? So right.
I don't want it no more.
The whole point is that we got rid of it. Got rid of it.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't want to deal with it no more.
Just a minute. Oh, I want to put a rock in mine so there's more weight to it, but then I'll break something.
Right.
So we need to do that. And then there's like a sense of relief a little bit. And we might have to do that a couple times a day, 3-4 times a day. But it says we call this hand squash toss. Put it in your hand, then squash and toss it. If your group wants, you can put everyone's squashables in one big pile, or put them all in the trash so everyone can be free together. Oh, que chulo. I like that part. So
I love when you say that.
my broken Spanglishes. Yeah, so that's us hand squash tossing. And like I learned, thank you, Stephen, that it could just be squashing, tossing the emotion of something so that you can then deal with it in a more rational manner. Right. See, I had a hard time saying rational. That's so unlike me to even know what that word means. Rational.
I feel like the thing that I hand squash toss was my past. All the shit that happened to me in my past. And hearing Stephen say the emotional part is made complete sense with me for that, because I've been trying to get that out of my life for a long time. And now that I can actually know that I can put the emotional part in that, it has helped me now more than it did before. So thank you, Stephen.
That's good.
Or I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Hollywood.
So sometimes even if we have memories, there's certain things, like we get squash things all we want, and sometimes there's things that are always going to be there, but just getting rid of the emotion of it sometimes is enough, right?
Yeah.
It's there, you understand it's there, but you're rid of the emotion, you're rid of the draining feeling and the anguish of something. And
exactly.
and it makes you, it can give you some kind of a relief.
Yep.
So, okay.
Did you get the other email?
We're 9:20. Let's read what Coach Carlson, would somebody like to read what Coach Carlson has to say? She's always got little insightful tidbits.
I will.
Joanne, would you like to read what Coach Carlson has to say?
Can you guys hear me? Because I know I've been coming in and out.
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. That's from Coach Flay Carlson. Before I had the GOGI tool let go in my toolbox, I was plagued by anxiety and let daily stress get the best of me. The kicker is that not one of the things that caused me so much stress was within my control. The only thing in my control was how I handled the situations. I had to let go to get beyond these situations. Let go has freed me from years of unnecessary anxiety and poor decisions. When I let go of the little things each day, I am not bottling up the worry and irritation so that it can't get the best of me. And I will not wallow in a negative situation. I have the GOGI tools posted right next to my desk at work, along with the sign that says "Let Go." I can often be found on my desk doing the hand squash toss. I might look funny, but I feel amazing. No matter what your style of let go, you can march to the beat of your own drummer as long as you let go. Hand squash toss. Don't carry it around with you if you can get it out of your system and move on to the processing bigger and more important things. Let go. People have a difficult time with let go, especially when they identify strongly with something, good or bad. You have a place in life and a reputation, and you identify with that. But perhaps your identity is not healthy. Perhaps your lifestyle is destructive, and perhaps you are in prison or jail because you have made decisions that are not your best, because you have allowed your label to dictate your life. How can you simply let go of your identity or label without losing yourself? Let go requires you to identify with something else, something different, and for you to pick up your own labels. Let go is not about being who you are, it's about showing up differently in the world, showing up in a productive and positive way. Kogi for life, Coach Carlson.
Love that.
Awesome. Thank you. I do too. She has such a good way of speaking, and she's so relatable. You know, she she's been through a lot of stuff that we've been through. I can totally relate to her. And this is freaking me out right here. Why is that not centered, Monica? I have to fix that. Move that over. Okay. So, what is everybody's thoughts about let go, and how do you see yourself using it this week?
Seeing as how
Let's go round robin. Savina, go. How do you think you're going to be able to use let go this week?
Oh gosh.
Huh?
Skip me. I don't know.
Okay. Maybe you can use it while you're hanging upside down.
Yeah, there you go.
Savina hangs upside down when she's stressed out. She's got one of those. What's it called, Savina?
Inversion machine.
Inversion. She actually puts it. Inversion machine. So cool. All right, Joanne, how are you going to use let go?
My life has been so great since I quit. But the only thing that's been, it hasn't, yes, I guess it's been bugging me is the traffic, especially today when everybody went back to work.
I was going to say traffic, you can always use let go, huh?
Yeah. So just some just the people that don't know how to drive on the freeways. I have traffic on the freeways and I have traffic in the street. So it took me almost 2 hours to get home today from a 35-minute drive.
Ooh.
So
Wow.
yeah. So I will practice let go while I'm driving
There you go.
with my meditation.
Perfect. Martha, how do you see being able to use let go this week?
Well, let go. I probably overthinking about my son and how I can help him. I know the situation is mostly out of my control, and I just want to probably when I start thinking something negative, I want to let go of the negative thought, write it down,
There you go.
scrunch it up and throw it in the trash and not let that thought keep going on in my head on how I can resolve a made up story that I made in my own head about what's going on with my son.
Gosh, don't you hate that? I do the same thing. You get a thought, and by the time you're done, there's a whole plot, there's a whole story to it, and it's all just in our mind. And it can be exhausting. Yeah.
My son sends me a letter, and he is able to write me a letter, every week out of nothing, out of not doing nothing. And I love him for that. I love him for making that effort. And I think sometimes too much into the words that he says.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So good. So you've got something to work on. Monica.
What?
What are you going to use let go for?
Probably, well, I don't know that I've been using it, but I've been better at channeling. When I listen to my mother-in-law's woes of her housing issues and what she put herself into, and I haven't been
let
getting
go.
I've been trying to counsel her, but when I start to feel like I'm going to repeat myself to her and trying not to say I told you so, but I'm going to just be supportive, and I'm going to put the I told you so in my hand and crumple it up and throw it away, because that's not going to be helpful.
There you go. There you go. Awesome. All right, Rebecca.
I'm gonna use the emotional side of let go instead of trying to use the other side, and maybe that will be more beneficial to me on the let go tool.
See, it's awesome when it's versatile. Steven? Steven still here?
I think he ran away.
No, I think he ran away. Okay. And I'm just gonna work on letting go of everything daily, just the daily emotional roller coaster. Just let it go. And I'm like Martha. I need to learn to let something go before it's in my head too long. Or I will find that 20 minutes have gone by and I've sat here worried about something and I've made something out of nothing, and then I feel stupid. So I need to nip it in the bud, as Barney Fife would say. Nip it in the bud.
Yeah, that's better for you.
All right. Yeah. Well, and I don't waste so much time, because I seriously can sit here for 20 minutes at a time and just lose myself in
I hate doing that.
stupid thoughts.
Oh, I totally understand that. I do that where all of a sudden I'm going, oh, maybe I should start to work. I look and it's been an hour and a half, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Arguing with the 4 other personalities and voices in my head. It's just, dumb.
Please, thank you. Oh
I
my
only
God, I can't.
Playing devil's advocate with your other personalities. Yeah, it's comical.
Yes.
All right, so let's go ahead and close up. Good meeting. Who would like to lead us in our pledge?
I will.
Okay.
Please repeat after me. May our commitment to the study of GOGI grant us the joy of giving and receiving,
so
that our inner freedom may be of maximum service to those we love and infinite others.
And infinite
others. Awesome. We invite you to join us for our next meeting, which will be held next Monday, where we will study the GOGI tool, forgive. Forgive.
Forgive.
Okay? Forgive. All right. So let's do our 1, 2, 3 GOGI for life. Oh, I feel like it's been forever. Okay.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Three.
GOGI for life.
Life. I'm gonna go hire Steven.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Good. Yeah, good meeting.
Good.
You guys have a very productive weekend. Let's let it go.
Yep.
Okay.
Good night, ladies.
So,
Night.
Night.
Good night.
Oh. Why does it do that? Okay, go away.